It's a new season of Shiyu Defense, and we're here to find out if this season can be beaten with level 50 agents. Normally, agents can reach level 60, making rewards feel almost too easy to unlock. So instead, we're upping up the ante with this modified rule set. I'll only use agents capped at level 50, which includes their W engines and the team's bamboo. That means their core skills are limited to rank D, and their active skills are stuck at a base level of 9. To keep things fair and accessible for everyone watching, I'll use no more than one limited W engine per team. Not only that, but I'll also restrict my limited agents Mindscape Cinema to 0.
You're wrong!
Before we dive into the encounter, I want to show my current roster to show what agents I'll be working with. Without further ado, let's get into the encounter. One of the biggest weaknesses of this lineup is its low grouping potential. Clearing mobs is like a slog, and I've had to retry multiple times just to get it done in under 30 seconds. It's not ideal, but I found a way to make it work. As with any disorder team, the core of this setup revolves around triggering anomalies to maximize disorder damage. However, I aim to proc a shock anomaly first, then let Burnice follow up with a burn anomaly to trigger disorder. This is because of the Terror Raptor's inherent weakness to shock anomaly. Not to mention how Grace triggers anomalies at such a high rate that she can have shock ready again before the next disorder cycle. Timing is everything though, since disorder damage scales with the remaining duration of the anomaly, so I need to trigger it as soon as shock is active. I should note that since I'm not running an impact agent, I can sneak in an ultimate rotation early on, and my agents will have just enough decibels by the time the boss is stunned. Admittedly, I sometimes lose track of which anomaly is up. You might catch me triggering burn before shock, which reduces the team's overall damage output. It's chaotic, but thankfully the current Shiyu Defense buff saves the day, wherein triggering anomalies gives me extra energy and attack percentage boosts, so I don't have to stress about stacking energy regen stats on my anomaly agents. It's a nice safety net to say the least. What can I say about the Terror Raptor?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Personally, the window for defensive assists feels shorter than in other fights, which throws me off my rhythm. My game plan is to shock it as much as possible to keep it locked down, but when it starts attacking, evasive assists become way too common. And there's a problem when it comes to evasive assists. There's this one attack where the Raptor leaps back, hovers, and fires rockets. While it's hovering, it's invulnerable, and if you trigger an evasive assist here, it stays invulnerable even longer. Just be careful when to use an evasive assist. On the flip side, when it leaps back, charges and launches a big missile, landing a defensive assist paralyzes it for a decent window. It's a quick move though, so you need to get used to its stealths. All in all, I'm not a fan of the Raptor. Between its tight assist windows and that annoying time-wasting move, it's a headache and I'd rather not deal with it again. Still, with this team and strategy, I've managed to scrape by. Of course, there are other team compositions that make this encounter significantly easier, but I wanted to show a more accessible team composition on top of the heavy restrictions I set for myself. Running for anomaly agents means my best drive discs are stretched thin. There's only so much to go around, and finding the right balance for each agent felt like a puzzle. After some trial and error, I landed on a combination that, while not ideal, still holds up. It's all about resource management, making the most of what I've got to keep the team strong. What do you think of the Terror Raptor? Are there any tips to make this fight less painful? Share your thoughts in the comment section below.
You cannot stop me. Perfect timing. I found you. Left power attack. I'll press the place of battle. Ready for a fiery feast? So many openings. Every effort counts. Dance, dance! Let's not disappoint our customers! Wanna help me test this? Like that? This little one's gotcha! Isn't it pretty?
I built everything around Rina's ability to boost the team's penetration ratio, but I had to make some concessions since I still prefer those with better substats, so you won't see me running around with a 2-piece buffer Electro with bad substats. Normally, I'd avoid running Roaring Ride on her, but since both of my Weeping Gemini W engines were already locked in my second team, I figured Roaring Ride was the next best option. I also gave her Anomaly Mastery to keep pace with Grace and Rina's Anomaly buildup. For Rina, I went all in on Anomaly Proficiency with the Astral voice set, since she was going to dilute Grace's Shock Anomaly regardless of what I do, so I did my best to lessen the dilution. I paired it with an Energy % 6 slot, because without her Cinema 1, her core skill has a super short duration. That means I'm casting her skills as often as possible to keep Drusilla on the field. Liking the video so far? Let me know by hitting like, and subscribe to be updated when a new episode drops. Having Nicole on the team significantly speeds up the mob clearing phase, which is a huge time saver. In between the boss getting stunned, I focus on building energy and executing quick combos, which start with Nicole applying her defense shred then triggering disorders with Vivian and Yanagi. This is possible because of the current Shiyu defense buff that gives energy. Without it, you might find yourself lacking resources once the boss gets stunned. Like my previous setup, I'm not using an impact agent, allowing me to use an ultimate rotation before the boss gets stunned, and having it up again with enough decibels for another round of ultimates once the boss eventually gets stunned.
I'll eat everything! Such provocations don't go unanswered. In pursuit. Notice me. Lord Victor. Leave it to me.
One of my favorite things about Vivian is her EX skill. When I use it, I can freely swap her out, and she automatically performs a moveset that converts her flight feathers to guard feathers. Just a quick reminder that you have to wait for the conversion to happen before she can consume guard feathers to proc Blooms and Prophecies. For the stun window, ideally I trigger the stun with Nicole's EX, then start the chain with Vivian to give her the Astral voice buff. Cycle back to Nicole and cancel into a quick assist with Yanagi. This briefly gives both Vivian and Yanagi the Astral voice buff for a damage boost. Unfortunately, I messed up the timing and Vivian didn't get the buff, costing me some damage. I chose not to use Yanagi's chain attack for a couple of reasons. First, it doesn't deal as much damage for non-crit builds. Second, Yanagi already had her ultimate, so the extra decibels from the chain attack weren't needed. Finally, the animation takes time, which means Vivian's Astral voice buff would soon expire. Toward the end, I had to scramble and trigger as many disorders as possible to finish off fans. It worked, but it was messy. Small optimizations might seem minor, but they add up and can significantly improve your runs. However, I must warn to not over-optimize, because at that point, it becomes tedious and unfun.
Mind and body.
And you just might end up burning yourself out. Have any questions regarding the run? Or have any tips you can share to improve how I play? I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comment section below. With another successful clear, it looks like HP inflation has not caught up to us yet, and this season can still be beaten with level 50 agents. Before we move on to the gear section, I want to show the teams my colleagues use for this season, to not only show other possible strategies you can use on your runs depending on your agent roster, but also as a thank you for sharing their approach to this season. Aside from my usual Yanagi setup, I decided to replace the Fusion Compiler with a Weeping Gemini. This swap was necessary to boost her Anomaly proficiency for polarity disorders, especially since Nicole's presence on the team reduces the need for the penetration ratio provided by the Fusion Compiler. For Vivian's loadout, I pieced together whatever Phaeton's Melody disk drives I could roll. In hindsight, since I didn't use defensive assist to generate guard feathers, it might have been better to equip her with the Raptor W engine and assign the Weeping Gemini to Burnice instead. For Nicole, unfortunately, I didn't have an extra Astral voice set with high anomaly proficiency rolls, as that set was already allocated to Rina. As a result, I opted for a crit-based setup for Nicole's loadout, which ended up diluting the corruption damage dealt by Vivian. While these runs aren't formal guides, they can help you refine your gameplay or spark inspiration for your own approach to Zenless Zone Zero's endgame content. I encourage you to check out my previous runs for ideas and strategies. Until then, I'll see you on the next excursion.